Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today is March 3rd, and we are welcoming you to our 116th webinar. And today we're going to be talking about digital field tickets and switching to digital from a paper-based operation. So a little bit of our agenda. We're going to talk about field tickets in general, digitalizing and switching to digital field tickets. We have this conversation today prepared for you with Arsen. Arsen is our software consultant. He's been working with RigER for a very long time, and he has a lot of knowledge related to digital operations. So it is my pleasure to introduce him. Arsen, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Good morning, everyone.
Perfect. So like I said, a little bit of agenda. Today we're going to talk about field tickets, how it's done in RigER, different types of tickets. We will also be talking about field mobile app and how the digital side of field tickets realized in your mobile phones. And after that, we will answer, obviously, any questions that you have. But let's start with the field tickets and different digital types. So Arsen, my microphone is yours.
All right. Thank you, Eugene. Again, hello, everyone. Let's discuss what we have in terms of ticketing in RigER. So as you know, the oilfield, and not only oilfield, but a lot of operations involve a lot of work tickets, digital paper tickets, I apologize. And to digitalize everything means to gain some time, gain the edge over your competitors. And what we have in RigER in terms of tickets is a plethora of documents, of digital documents that you can utilize and save time, and thus gain that edge that you can use to later succeed. So let's move to the next slide and see what we have. Now, the general workflow of our tickets. Well, first of all, there are, as I said, different types of tickets in RigER, and the main two will be the rental ticket, the document called rental ticket, and the field ticket. We will talk in detail in about each one of them, but the workflow, how it works, is the tickets are going to be generated by the dispatcher after obviously the job is created already, meaning the rental agreement is in place. The dispatcher will generate the tickets in the cloud, and all the tickets can be operated after on either in cloud or in the mobile app, depending on how you want to do the workflow. So again, all the tickets, all the types of the tickets are going to be available in our RigER field mobile application, one of our mobile applications, but those are not going to be created in that application. So the intent, the main intent of the RigER mobile field app is to allow the field personnel to work on already existing tickets, to perform the jobs that are assigned within the ticket and post those changes in the system, so the dispatcher can later on forward that document to the accounting department to invoice. So about rental tickets a little bit. Now, the rental ticket is a type of a document that has different types, and those can be considered as deliveries when you deliver rental equipment to a client location. Those can be used for service provision, to return or pick up the equipment from the client location and return the rental assets to your shops. Rental tickets can also be used for maintenance, disposals, and swaps. So the rental tickets, generally, most of them encapsulate all the information about your rental equipment, services, consumables. You can track crew members and crew members' hours, or also track job time within those tickets. On the other hand, we have the field ticket, which is a standalone document. It does not have specific types. It's just a single document, which has a main intent for service provision. So in the cases where you do not require rental equipment deployment to a client location, you just need to create a ticket and log the service provision. In most cases, you'd be better off to use the field ticket mobile field ticket. Let's go to the next slide and see.
Arsen, before we go into more details on the ticket side of things, You mentioned we have a yellow mobile app here. Can you mention how many different mobile apps do we have, and sort of what's the main role for it or the reason for it?
Okay. So yeah, we have a suite of mobile applications. Well, they belong to two different types, offline and online, meaning the offline mobile apps will allow you or your field personnel rather to work on documents in the field where there is no internet connection. And the online mobile app obviously will require a connection to the cloud and will present you with real-time data, but the connection is required. Now, depending on the type of operations the company has, they will be able to choose between the two types and which one they'd rather use. If the coverage is good, obviously they can use the online mobile application, which, by the way, we call a black app. And if the connection is absent in some cases, which we usually see in oil field, and there is no cell service, there is no internet, the other types of mobile applications can be used, which is the offline mobile apps. Now,
Fantastic.
there is a requirement that we will need to synchronize with the cloud. Excuse me, for the changes that the field personnel makes in the applications. So those changes will be already active in the cloud. So synchronization is a step that is required to utilize prior to the information flow from the mobile app to the cloud and vice versa.
Excellent.
Now,
Sorry, Sen. I think we're going to dive into more details, as far as the different functionalities. I just wanted to kind of give our listeners the overview, in the respect that we do have different mobile apps, and they are not only, provide different functionality for different users, but also, again, give you ability to work offline and online. And we'll talk about this in more details later on. So let's maybe get back to our topic, which is, different types of tickets and how they are represented in RigER.
All right. Okay, so on your screen right now, you can see the list of rental tickets and one of the rental tickets as a sample. So the back image indicates all the rental tickets that have been created in the database. They have different statuses, obviously different rental agreements, different dates of creation, and all the other applicable information. Now, can we please go back to the previous screen, Eugene? Now, the types of the rental tickets can be indicated in the list of rental tickets by those triangle icons: green, blue, brown, yellow. Depending on the type of the ticket, it will give you a better idea what the ticket is used for. And on the main part, on the front part of the screen, you see a sample of a rental ticket, and it allows every single ticket. When you generate that ticket, it will allow you to choose the type of the ticket and the intent for which you're going to be using it, be it return, be it service provision, be it maintenance, disposal, so on and so forth. Let's go to the next screen and see what the field ticket looks like. And again, we have the list of field tickets, same idea, all the information applicable for the field tickets presented on one screen. And the field ticket sample itself, it again is going to have the information about the job, but the main part and the main difference from the rental ticket with the field ticket will be the absence of the rental equipment tab. So we see that our tabs here start with service and there is no rental equipment tab. So this type of ticket can be used only for service provision.
Right. And just for our listeners, again, the screenshots that you see on your screen, that's the cloud version of RigER. And we will talk about mobile apps and how it works a little bit in more details in a few slides later.
Yes, and I do want to again emphasize the fact that all the tickets we see here and we are talking about during this webinar are going to be created in the cloud by the dispatcher. The field mobile app will not allow the ticket generation based on the fact that we see the field personnel not having the authority to generate field tickets or any other documents in the field. If we require that kind of operation from the field personnel, there is a different mobile app for that intent, but we're not going to discuss that app during today's webinar. All right, let's go on and see what we got next. Very important thing for all the documents in the database in RigER and tickets generally, the statuses of those tickets. Now, the statuses are a way to distinguish between the state of the particular ticket and to understand whether that ticket has been just created or is already prepared for an invoice or is in process. So to just give you a general idea, when the ticket gets generated in the database by the dispatch, it has the status of open. Now, later on, when the dispatcher assigns equipment, assigns services, and assigns all other applicable information to the ticket, he can change the status of the ticket and send it to the mobile applications, so-called. When that is done, the ticket gets locked in the cloud, and only the field personnel will be able to operate on the ticket. And the field personnel is assigned within the ticket as a field technician, and only that person will see that ticket. Now, when the field tech operates on the ticket, assigns or does the job, maybe assigns some time information or some additional crew members to the ticket, he has to post the ticket in the mobile application. And as I said previously, synchronize the app with the cloud. When the synchronization is done, ticket is sent back to the cloud with all the changes made, and it's unlocked in the cloud so the dispatcher can work on it and prepare it to send for the invoice. Let's move on to the next screen and talk about the repairs, inspections, and maintenances. So let's start. First off, we're going to talk about repairs. Obviously, there are going to be different types of repairs that you may require in your daily processes. And we have two types of repairs that, generally speaking, will cover all the needs that are required for a business to operate in the oil field. Well, first, we will have the repair ticket, and then we will have the defective units list. The difference is the defective units list will be used in cases when you require a repair to be done on equipment that is already in your shop. It's not at the location, it's not deployed, and it's not being used for any job for a client. So, for example, your field tech goes in, he just checks the equipment and accidentally finds out that something has to be repaired. You will need to use a defective units list to generate a repair card for that. On the other hand, we have the rental tickets, which will allow us to generate repair cards based on the equipment return, based on the repairs that are needed to perform in the field and other options. The repair card will be generated based on the ticket, will be operated as a standalone document in the database, and will be closed so the equipment can return to ready to invoice state. We also have the ability to create a repair template, which by default can apply to several items if they all use the same exact process, consumables and services attached to that process for the repair actions to be committed. So that's most information about repairs. Now let's talk about inspections. Alongside with the repairs, we usually see that some type of an inspection has to be performed to understand whether the actual item requires a repair or the actual item is in the state that can be used later on for later jobs. So the idea how inspections work in the RigER is we have the inspection templates, and based on those templates, the cards are going to be created for each item to which they are assigned to. And we have the trigger documents, which, to be honest, can be a lot of documents in RigER, and you see a little bit of sample, like assembly lists, bills of ladings, intercompany transfer documents, and in general, the repair cards. So all of them can act like triggers. The inspection can be done either for understanding if the repair is required or as a quality control after being repaired, or as a standalone internal inspection of the actual assets that we have. So in general, inspection cards are going to be used to inspect the actual rental items that we have in our inventory to understand whether they're in a good state, and if not, to send them to repairs. Next on, we're going to be talking about the maintenances. And maintenance is a topic that is specific to each work process, I would say, but we have tried hard, and we believe we have mostly covered all the factors that come into the maintenance life cycle of any item. So generally speaking, we have four main role players for the maintenance that we define. Well, first of all, we have the maintenance type. Is it like a preventive maintenance? Is it a maintenance that it needs to be done after jobs? Is it a certification? So on and so forth. Then we have the maintenance cycles and the intervals, which define the triggers that invoke the maintenance card generation. And we have the equipment readings. Now, this can be operational hours, this can be days in fleet, this can be hours total without the operation, hours deployed, so on and so forth. It all depends on the process that the specific company requires to have for their own maintenance lifecycle. As I said, we have the trigger document, and we have the trigger of the maintenance, which invokes the creation of the maintenance tickets and maintenance cards. And we have the template, which defines what actions are going to be performed during the specific maintenance cycle for a specific item. Now, on your card, you see on your screen, you see a sample maintenance card, which technically speaking involves in the top part of the section the date the maintenance is going to be performed, the actual rental unit, which in our case is the light tower 20 kilowatts, and the specific asset number, the serial number of the asset that we are performing the maintenance for. And there are several tabs, as you can see. The parts that are going to be involved for this maintenance is, if this is like a sample of a preventive maintenance, we have the light tower monthly preventive maintenance kit. We have one service. We have 6 parameters, which is a checklist that the performer goes through to understand if the maintenance is completed or not. Crew members, person or people who are required to perform the maintenance, and the readings. As I just mentioned, the operating hours, the days in fleet, so on and so forth. So we have the previous reading by default already in the card, and the person who performs the maintenance will have the opportunity to post the latest reading for this particular asset. All right, let's move on and talk about the dashboards and the snapshot that you can see about the repairs and maintenance. So the dashboards are, technically speaking, going to be a dynamic representation of the information based on the date that you select. Up top, we have the repair dashboard. You can see that we have a date field. We can select the date and see the information that is applicable for that particular date. And it's going to present you with all the repair cards already created in the system by clients, by jobs, by departments. If you have different departments, whether the repair was billable or it's going to be done in shop, whether the check is required or not, whether the items need to be sent for rework, which is a third-party repair, which is also available in RigER. Also, if the repair has been done, we can select the show recent repairs and see the actual repair information, the date, the time, and what has gone through all the repair for that particular item. Down below, we have the maintenance dashboard, which technically speaking uses the same logic. Again, it's an active document. It's an active state of all the maintenance cards and maintenance tickets that we currently have generated in the database. Many filters to narrow down your search, and again, active. You can double click on any line item to open up the maintenance card and see what's going on within the maintenance card for that particular item. All right, so let's go ahead. And
yes, and I think this is where I'm going to come in, and then I'm going to start talking a little bit about mobile app. And Arsen, please feel free to again plug in and add anything you feel I'm missing. But also the field notes, I will definitely would ask you to put some insight on that. So what's the document is for and how it's being used. But
Right.
talking about the field mobile app and apps actually that we have in RigER, as we covered before, there are different types. And it's not only designed to cover different roles within an organization, but it also created to reflect different operational modes, such as offline and online. And so for the offline mode, for those areas where there is no internet connection, and there are some, if you're working in the middle of nowhere, then you are able to create and update different documents related to your specific duty. Part of those documents could be job safety analysis, your pre-trip, post-trip inspections, which we covered in the previous webinar. And so once you update in those documents, when you have the internet access later on, you can synchronize with cloud, and everything magically flows into one place so that the rest of the organization can see those documents accordingly. Now, two main platforms that we use are obviously iOS and Android, depending on, again, what your preferences are for mobile devices. But I guess what I wanted to mention here is that we have three main apps, white, black, and yellow, that are normally being utilized for any operation. White is more for dispatch. You can actually create your field tickets, assign specific people and crews to it, and pretty much everything you can do in the cloud that you can do with a white mobile app if you are a dispatcher. Now, the yellow app is designed for the field technicians out there. Normally, they are only updating the field tickets that have been assigned to them by the dispatch. Update it, sign it digitally with the client on location with the convenience of your mobile phone. And then again, once it's synchronized in the database, the rest of the organization will be able to see it. And that's where the black mobile comes in, where it's a version where normally designed for the management, where you can see all the dashboards, different KPIs, operational, and so on. So today we're going to talk in a lot more details about the yellow mobile app, and I know Arsen already covered some of it. So let's talk about different types of documents that yellow mobile app has, and what's the main purpose of the yellow mobile app, how it's currently working. So for as I mentioned before, either in the cloud version of RigER or the white mobile app, dispatch will be able to create and assign specific documents for your field personnel, depending on what kind of operations you run, either rental tickets, if you do rental services, if you run services, such as wireline or coil tubing, whatnot, you're going to be able to, again, generate the service field tickets, and those ones will be flowing specifically to the mobile phones of the users that they've been assigned to. So each field technician can only see the field tickets that has been physically assigned to them. They're not going to be able to see all the field tickets for all the users, only what's important to them. And so the main concept is that in the mobile phone, when they go inside the individual field ticket, everything you have in the cloud is available inside the field ticket on your mobile phone, and you can update it again accordingly, depending on what the physical operation was, and then review it with the client and sign it. Arsen, anything to add to this side of things?
Not really. Yeah, the fact that you have to create those from the dispatching site in the cloud, and yes, all the documents will be operated within the application by the field personnel to whom exactly they are assigned to. The emphasis is here that the roles of the people are strictly governed in RigER, and what they can and can't do in the mobile applications and in the database are also governed strictly. So we will need to define the actual person who's going to be working with a ticket so he can see the actual tickets in the mobile application that he is using. Yeah.
Right, right. And so, as you said before, once the status is been changed and the field ticket is logged in the cloud version of it, no one will be able to change or update anything until it's going to be unlocked again after the synchronization and the ticket's been completed on the field side of things.
Yes, the locking capability is there, and well, it's a twofold. If your dispatch and field personnel do not require locking the actual ticket, you don't have to lock the ticket. But the mechanism is there in place. You switch the status to a certain one. It locks the ticket in the cloud and allows only the person who's going to be using the mobile app to operate on that ticket. So there are no discrepancies in the future. There are no accidental mismatches within the chosen equipment, and so on and so forth. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. I just wanted to mention here as well is that we have different type of digital signatures in RigER. Mobile app is definitely one of those types when you're able to just open the document and register the signature from your client, and then whatever he signed will be physically reflected in your final document and will be stored in the database for just making sure that you have the record of it being signed. Now we also have the ability to send the field ticket via email through programs such as DocuSign or PandaDoc that are required basically do a full digital stamp and allow not only have a proper record of it, depending again on the level of complexity that you're required on the operational side, but also have the fully executed digital signature again documented and stored in a database. Okay, so as we talked about, there are different documents. Field ticket is one of the main working documents there is for the field personnel. However, the rest of the documents are also available. If you're, let's say, a maintenance person in the shop, you can have your maintenance cards, inspection cards, or repair cards assigned to you. You'll be able to open it up and actually go through the list of things that have been assigned to you directly. Again, the beauty of it, you do it with the convenience of your phone. It's beautifully synchronized with the cloud, and then everything feeds into one secure database and can be later on not only analyzed and safely stored, but it can also help you to improve your operational process in the future. So with that, the field note is the document that we're going to talk a little bit about next. Field note is, from what I understand, Arsen, correct me if I'm wrong, that is something that has been designed specifically for those circumstances where there is a very poor internet connection, and
Yep.
The operational process changes. You may not have the specific field ticket assigned, and so that's where the field note come in play.
Yes, there are always going to be situations when we have our equipment in the field and we have our guys in the field who are working on the job, and something either gets damaged or requires maintenance. So the main purpose that we have created the field note is to allow the field technician or the person who is performing the job on the field, in the field, to be able to, as soon as possible and as easy as possible, create repair or maintenance documents within the mobile app, whilst the mobile app is not connected to the internet. Now, if you remember, we have just talked that our yellow mobile app is intended for field personnel use and does not allow document creation, meaning our field techs will not be able to create any repair cards, rental or service or field tickets, whatever. but the field nodes are there for the field personnel to be able to perform field repairs and field maintenance on the spot and be able to create that document. And when they post it and synchronize with the cloud, the applicable consequent documents like the repair cards or maintenance cards will be created for each asset number that he or she has indicated within the field nodes document. So in short, field nodes will be there for the field tech to use to generate repairs and maintenance documents when there is no internet connection with the cloud.
Yes, excellent. Thank you for that clarification. That was one of the things. So basically, again, the field node, same as your GSA and your pre-trip, post-trip inspections for your vehicle, something that can be created in the mobile app by the user and doesn't require previous homework, let's put it this way, by the dispatch.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we covered most of our slides here. We just shortly after 30 minutes in, so I think let's move to the Q&A, see if the audience have any questions for us. Just let me check the chat here. Okay, it looks like Sarah has a question. Let me read it to you. Can you create an invoice in RigER based on the maintenance or repair card?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You not only can create invoices based on repairs or maintenance card, you can create standalone invoices for those cards, or you can include the charges to the actual total or rental invoice, how we call it, that you generate for the job. Now, depending on your preference and how you want to see that, you will be able to either charge for the standalone action, repair, maintenance, or just include it in a job, or mark it as unbillable or internal. So the charges will not be applied to your client, but you will still have that pricing and charge information for your further records.
Excellent, excellent. So hopefully that addresses your question, Sarah. Let's move to the next one. What do we have here? Okay, Anthony is asking, is there an ability to manage inventory of parts and consumables when you're putting those into your maintenance and repairs process?
In short, yes. It again boils down to the fact that the field technician needs to have the applicable permission and access level. But yes, in the application, they will be able to see all the inventory and parts and choose those consumables, materials, or spare parts for the particular maintenance or repair job.
So basically that would help you with your inventory count tracking, right? Like you use a certain amount of parts and consumables on your repairs, and so eventually you'll be able to see that, oops, you need to potentially purchase some more parts or more consumables for that.
Yes, and this reminds me of a point that we did not mention the other mobile applications, amongst which is the purchases mobile application, which will, technically speaking, allow your field personnel to either generate a PO for a specific item that he's going to purchase for the job on the field without having to interact within the cloud and so on and so forth, or to request a PO generation for that same reason. So they can incorporate that part directly after buying and not hassle and not lose any time for that PO to flow to database, get approved, and I don't know, not just deal with any paper steps that are involved. Just digitally do it within maybe an hour, maybe half an hour, and get done with the documentation process, so they can take the part, go to the field, perform the repair or the maintenance or whatever, and just finish the job.
Okay, would you say that from the operations perspective, and I mean, field has a very broad sort of definition. For the field, there could be purchase manager who's going to see their vendors and stuff, and that still be considered as a field trip. So would you say it's a fair statement that it mostly designed for the people that do purchasing, or it kind of can be covered by both, including the field techs who let's say go and they need to pick up a few parts and they still can create the PO and the rest of the process?
I'd say it's both, and it's more intended. I'd say it's more leaning towards the field technician side because, yeah, they are limited in their access to the database, but they have the capability to be assigned to a particular PO manager and create the purchase order request. So they will just create a document, include the parts that they need to purchase, and send for approval. And that all can be done within the mobile applications of the PO purchase order approver and the actual field technician. They will both receive notifications, and when the PO is approved, the field tech can proceed with the actual purchase in the field without having to come back to the office.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Arsen. Okay, so I don't see any more questions. Let me check just a couple seconds. Yeah, so no questions there. I guess we will consider this webinar coming to an end. We just over 35 minutes, so we're doing good on time. For those of you that are listening, I just want to announce our next webinar will be on actually inventory management. It'll be happening next Thursday, same time, so tune in. And again, thank you so much for your time and joining us today. Thank you, Arsen.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.